Hi everyone, this is Rosemarie from Joan's Joy, and I just want to converse with you or feel that. And it's interesting, the other day we had a gathering, and it was a Joan's Joy kind of appreciation gathering, and there were many people that came on this year, 46 to be accurate, and my purpose there was to have just not have all these faces and everyone just being in their own box. I wanted everyone to know each other's names and to know something about them. Well, it was quite an undertaking. It was pretty fatiguing because I'm working with a time limit for our whole gathering party and trying to get everyone in, and I felt like I was cutting them off, and it was just such an intriguing and interesting group of people that were involved in some way or coming into it or from another part of the United States. And here it was, I'm just saying to one person, well, so-and-so, and I'm saying the names, right? So each one in that box, I call it a box, were either your faces or the silhouette of the person in all in white, is as much as possible engaging with everyone else in the box. And for instance, I would say, well, so-and-so, I just met them on vacation, and it was like a beautiful joy that the way we met, and it was in a store, and I'm telling the owner that here it is, where just it was an interesting story, okay? It was where I was getting lots of little things to use for Christmas presents, and also very creative and just exciting. So I spoke to the owner, told him I liked the store a lot, and he said, he talked back, and I loved the way he was dressed. He had this hat on, and the vest, and the shirt, everything coming together, and it was really pretty neat. So I probably said something about that, and then I said, about that I just had finished a manuscript for a book that's in the hands of a publisher. And in the background, somebody online says, oh, my wife, guess what? She has a book club. And I go, oh my God. I felt like my little daughter Joan was there, making this happen. Like part of this social intervention. So, and meanwhile, I talking about, this wonderful couple, and there was no time for her or them to engage back, because I was going to the next person, to go through. to explain. And if you see this whole story of each person and how they're involved or become involved and so forth, it's just an intriguing story there. I mean, you have each person being a part of the whole picture right there in front of you, in front of who was there. But this is the way I was seeing it. So then I said, it would be great if, there was some way that, I could, to engage with the Jones Joy people, the new people, society, in a different way. So I'm not sure of how to do that, yeah. And by the way, a book is in the hands of the publisher. It's self-published. And for those that don't know about Joan's Joy and what that means, it's about, and then how I got to the book from the story starting with Joan's Joy. And Joan is my little girl, and she was delivering Girl Scout cookies to my neighbor 3 houses down, and it was on Holy Thursday, and he took her life. He assaulted her, and she never came back. And I mean, just think of that. Like, in life, most of the times, a million times, we take things for granted, or we're not thinking, we're just thinking, everything is just going to go, and like say, I'm saying goodbye to my little girl, and I'm going to see her in a few minutes, right? And that didn't happen. And it does happen in hopefully rare cases, but it happened to me. It happened to Joan. It happened to my family. It happened to the community, and it happened, and society was affected. Not all negative, okay? It became not all negative. There's a lot I would talk to you about, as I continue, with this type of conversation. Right now it's not conversation. I hope that there's a chance for you, maybe, to chat right now. Maybe I could do something on Zoom, but then that gets to be more technical. So like I said, I don't know how to keep this going. But there's so much. There's so much that just talking about what I was just talking about, to take that and talk about the positive. I mean, laws came through. Joan's Law. Look it up. You could go on to joansjoy.org. I did things. I started doing things that I never thought I would, because my little girl never came back. I'm going to continue to talk. Wait, let me get a sip of water. Just a little sip of water. Okay. So, everyone, this was like extremely traumatic. I mean, like extremely, like, like huge, right? And, but, we have more strength than we think as human beings, or more possibilities for strength. And that's what I learned, you know, in dealing with what happened. And there are so many ways that we could get strength. And I remember, you know, with me, I mean, when I thought about it, there were at least 7 ways I got it. And one of the ways was that I didn't want Joan just to stay in, like, she's buried in the cemetery, you know, to stay under the ground, because I knew she had so much life to give in a different way. And it was going to be through a, like, you'd call it spiritual energy, you could call it through, like, just spirit, you could just call it, like, it's just something invisible that is beautiful, you know? And that's what happened. Because I was able to see what my strength was, use it, and make it, you know, I say I'm like Joan's voice in a way. So I'm going to tell, or what I like you to know is, I'll say it again, that every single person has the ability to have strength. The possibilities that's there for that person are a lot, but you got to kind of think about it. You got to go into it a little bit, you know, even with your sadness, or even with the troubles you have and other troubles that you're having. And in the process, you got to find a way. That's what I did, and it helped a lot, you know, not to feel alone, even though you might be feeling alone physically, that you know, there's no one really around that really wants to listen to you or wants to talk to you, you know, and you're sensing that, you know, you go to, you know, you believe in God, you go to God. You believe in another power above you, you go to them, right? You don't believe in any of that. There's a beautiful nature that was made for us to enjoy, to see, you know? You look at the sky, look at the stars, look at the moon, you know? Look at the snow, look at the flowers. Yeah, sometimes, even through another person, they can inspire you. But, you know, I would like to engage with you and talk to you about that. We could talk together, you know, but it's very, very terrible for someone to feel. And, you know, I was almost there. Let me get another sip of water. I really want to get the right idea out. You know, and some of these things are, you know, quite deep. It's very, like, it's like, almost like such hardship that, you know, for a person to really feel, let me see, like that. And you hear about this too, that no one cares. But sometimes it's just talk, but sometimes it's really true. They just feel that way, or they have no one to go to, or they don't know what to do, you know? one thing I could say is, remember, you're a human being and you have lots of strengths, even if you don't know it. You have a lot in you, even if you don't think that. You have a lot that you could, you're really, in a way, not alone, because you have you. You start with you. And you is a person that's radiating, is radiating. I mean, you're living, right? And you're touching, and you're seeing. You're seeing the sky. You're seeing the flower. You're seeing the smile on a person. You're seeing a child laughing. You see an older person, so it's just something in their eyes, So that with your sight, you're not really alone, okay? So, and that could help you to get some strength. And like I said, I'm trying to find a way, to see, if we could just talk. I mean, I like to talk to you. And some of the things, and then you could, I could, talk about that subject, or just, talk to you on the YouTube. I guess it's on the YouTube. I'm not really technical. I'm lucky that I have sons that are interested in the technical part, which is good, right? So anyway, getting back to Joan and the good that came out of it, right? It's a continuous journey. And in April of 2023, we're almost here. Believe it or not, will be the 50th anniversary that Joan, I believe in heaven, went to heaven on Holy Thursday, April 19th. And then she was found on Easter Sunday. About Easter, right? Rebirths, right? Beautiful new things, right? New paths open to us. Light, radiating, and she was found on that day. And we're planning to have something on that day, possibly at the Sculpture and Garden. It's called the Joan Angela D'Alessandro White Butterfly Sculpture and Garden. And it's right in front of the train station in Hillsdale, New Jersey. That's where I live. And that's where I lived a long time ago, and I live now. In the same house, in the same wonderful house. Except I just did some painting and took the rug away that was there for 30 years, painting and wallpaper there for 30 years. And, little by little was, able to be in a situation where I could manage all that. And it's really nice to have no worn out rug and have wooden floors that were there from the beginning. They were covered with the rug. So, thinking of, it was mentioned to me, why don't you have a concert? We do have a place with a bandstand and, lots of space in our town, but I don't even know, who I would get, So, the more known the person would be, the more people we could have, and that would bring attention because I didn't go into it specifically, but my whole journey is about, remembering Joan, so tomorrow's children will be safe. So tomorrow's children, the general picture, it's not just about Joan and me. It started with that, and I know how Joan would be. She was also for social justice, as little as she was. It's about the big picture. It's about all the people, all the children. So that means like all the mothers, right? And all. So, that's what I'm working on now. And right now we have in the second edition, so we're going to have to work for a few weeks on that. And I'm fortunate that my sons are working on this project too, and collaborating with format, editing, like typing for me, because I do the, I record, and then I look at the hard copy and make changes on that. So I'm going to, say so long for now. We're getting, I just hope the day after, I celebrate Christmas, so day after Christmas, or wherever you are in your holidays, beautiful holidays, or if you don't celebrate holidays, wherever you are today, on December 26th, that you have a chance to get connected with how you want to think of and of the purpose in your life for next year. And if that's too much to do, just maybe think of like all the good things you did this year that made a difference in this world. And even if you don't have that, or if you have one thing, I know each of you has more than one thing. Just think about all the things. Maybe take it by month. January, February, March. Now December, what did I do? What did I do that helped society and helped me as a person to grow and to enjoy life? And then also think of things, maybe what did you do for yourself? And I'm not talking about like, I'm talking about healthy things. What did you do for yourself? I'm not talking about like, like real selfish things, like in a negative way. But what did you do for yourself? You know what I did for myself? Because we worked 10 months. I worked 10 months writing, from January till November, and gave the manuscript to the publishers. And oh gosh, it was because the book is about my. It's about, like, I'm just going to tell you the title now, and I'll talk more about the book. What the book is about is another time. The title of the book is called A Message of Light Amidst Letters of Darkness. All right? So it's about the journey that came to be Joan's joy, and it's also about the paralleling of my life to the time the letters were written. And I'm just going to tell you that the letters were written by the killer of my child. And remember, he was my neighbor, He also was a school teacher in Tappan, New York, chemistry teacher. So I'm just going to just go now and, get back to me. I hope there's a few people hearing this. And, let's continue. And there's so much about life, right? And, I'm interested in, what makes you tick, right? Because people are so interesting, right? And so much they go through, and they have so much power inside them, good power.